Raging Review.
The Raging Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Raging Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Ready? Who's that team ready? Who's that team ready? That's up.
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
Ladies and gentlemen, some technical difficulties with my internet not working, so let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Raging Review podcast. Nick in this afternoon. Again, flying solo today because I know some of you have some things to say about what we just witnessed with the Cajuns falling to James Madison 10-9. I think disappointing is an understatement going into the tournament ranked. Yeah, just I'm speechless. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. We are on Twitter Spaces. I would appreciate you guys if you're tuned into the Twitter space to chime in, because I really do want to make this about the fans' emotions right now, because our emotions are all high. I'll tell you why I'm not mad. I'll explain that in a little bit. We'll talk about a little bit of strategy, whether that came back to bite us in the butt, and where do we go from here, man? You've had 2 weekends. I'll say this is a weekend. We'll call it a weekend. 2 weekends where the team has shown a propensity to give up a lot of runs. And you're talking about the top pitching staff in the Sun Belt giving up 10 plus runs 2 weekends in a row. Not great. Definitely not ideal going into a regional tournament situation where you're going to be facing teams that are much better than ODU and James Madison. And look, no, this is not a shot at JMU or ODU. They played some damn good baseball. James Madison did not go away today. However, the teams that we have now put ourselves in a position to face got a whole lot tougher. I'll tell you why about that in just a bit. But first, let's take a quick break, thank our sponsors, and when we come back, time to rant.
Hey everybody, thanks again for joining Raging Review for another weekly episode. We'd just like to encourage you to patronize our great sponsors like Dr. Brett Venable and Recovery Chiro Med. Have you been in a car accident or hurt yourself lifting on the job? Are you having neck pain or back pain, but really don't want to deal with a long drawn-out process? Then call the chiropractor Raging Cajun athletes use for their neck and back pain, Dr. Brett Venable. The bottom line is, you just need to feel better. You need to get better quickly. That's where Dr. Brett Venable comes in to make all the difference. Dr. Venable and his integrated team of rehab, chiropractic, and medical doctors have 3 locations in Acadiana to serve you: Opelousas, New Iberia, and of course, main office in Lafayette. Dr. Brett Venable is one of very few chiropractors recognized by the state of Louisiana as a chiropractic specialist. He is also the only chiropractor in the Cajuns Healthcare Alliance and the only chiropractor on the board at Tulane School of Professional Advancement. Before you start to stress about the process, remember, this is exactly why you pay for car insurance. These situations are exactly why you carry workman's comp. There's no need for a court date. your first call should be to Dr. Brett Venable and his great team at Recovery Chiro Med. No hassle, no waiting, and quick relief. Come and find out what our Raging Cajun athletes and over 10,000 Acadiana residents already know. For more information, call the Lafayette office at 337-988-2188 or visit recoverychiromed.com. recoverychiromed.com. We'd like to thank Dr. Brett Venable for being an RCAF member and the exclusive chiropractic sponsor of the Raging Review podcast. Also, a huge thank you to Absolutely Embroidery and More. We know how much Cajun Nation loves their gear. At Raging Review, we get our gear from Miss Phyllis Thibodeau and the team at Absolutely Embroidery and More. Absolutely has a massive inventory of Raging Cajun apparel to choose from. If you can't find something you like, Absolutely can make something you'll like right there in the shop. And if your creation proves to be a popular item with customers, Absolutely will give you a little incentive for helping out with the cause. Bring in your vermilion and white shirts, hats, shorts, socks, dresses, jackets, sweaters, or whatever garment you need to represent the Cajuns. Absolutely also offers customized embroidery services to promote your business on hats, polos, uniforms, etc. Absolutely rounds out the collection with an assortment of exciting accessories for the lady Cajuns in your life. Earrings, headbands, bracelets, clutches, and bags are just a few options to complete her spicy look. Pass by 3010 Collie Saloon Road in Lafayette and see the wonderful ladies at Absolutely Embroidery and More today. They'll treat you to quality Cajun clothing, complimentary gourmet cookies, and a friendly conversation. And if you're an out-of-town Raging Cajun, visit them on the web at absolutelyembroideryandmore.com or visit their social channels on Instagram or Facebook. There, you'll find pictures of what the ladies are putting on the shelves in real time. Once again, folks, please support local businesses and please support businesses that support the Raging Cajuns and especially the Raging Review podcast.
I think in all honesty, we probably need to get a psychiatric hospital to sponsor us next season by the way that that things were going. But to recap, the unhappy post-game, Cajuns dropped the game 10-9 to James Madison. Unfortunately, the Sunbelt does not have the stats out. They switched the stats to the game that's about to happen. So I'm kind of flying in the dark, but we'll make the best of it from what I remember during the game, which unfortunately is a lot. But just a reminder for those of you in the Twitter space, or if you are, the X space, I'm never going to call it X, but if you're in the space and want to talk, please request to speak. It is important that we hear your guys' thoughts about what transpired today. As you can see, a lot of fans chiming in on different social media platforms. And everything looks so good, man. We were, you give up a run in the first and you're thinking, oh, great. Fluno threw a bunch of pitches. It's going to be a tough game. We'll have to hit our way out of this. And the first inning was kind of rough. I think he faced 5 or 6 batters in the first. Just did not look good. And then, it comes the third inning where all hell breaks loose and we decide to score 7 runs, go up 7-1. We think we're cruising at that point, right? We were feeling pretty good about ourselves, but James Madison just would not go away. James Madison would not go away. What a job they did by just, staying in the ball game, chipping away at the lead. Didn't feel like they had to crush every ball out of the ballpark. And the rest is history. Give up a big 3-run bomb to go up 10-8. Couldn't scratch back. You had a little bit of hope there for a while. Bryce, I see that you requested to speak. Love to hear from you, but before you go, Bryce, I want to just read this comment. Got cute by pulling Fluno to save him and nobody else could do anything. Truly pathetic showing. Bryce, I do not disagree with you, sir. If you want to unmute yourself, the floor is yours. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Hello, you hear me?
I hear you, Bryce. What's up, man?
Okay, Sorry if my audio is a little messed up. I'm driving home from work.
You're
but,
good.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Were we trying to save Fluno? And Deg said in the pregame that Herman was actually available for later on in the weekend, and why did we not throw him today also?
I mean, if you want me to be honest on my thoughts of that, I think it's cockiness. I really do. I think it's cockiness, thinking that you're going to advance no matter what. You can throw your number 2, number 3, number 5 pitchers today and advance. And that's just not the case. I mean, we're not playing in Conference USA. We're playing in the Sun Belt. You can't take anybody for granted.
Because after that first inning, Fluno was in a groove.
Yeah.
They pulled him at 50 pitches after 3 innings. And then, I mean, even if LP keeps it the pace he is, he gave up a run an inning, that still would have won us the game.
No, I agree. And it's the same situation last night with Simo, where we pulled him after he got into a little bit of trouble. We never gave him the opportunity to get out of it. And then, you know, I guess because he threw 30 pitches, try to use him again. There is no using him again. Now we're done, brother. Now we're done.
Another thing that concerns me, one more thing, is we blew a 6-run lead to Troy or whatever on a Sunday. Right?
Yep.
It wasn't our best bullpen arms. Today was our bullpen arms.
Yep. And you're the number one. You're
Today
the number
was our
one.
main horses out the bullpen that blew that.
You were the number 1 pitching staff statistically in the Sun Belt Conference, and we're giving up 10 runs back-to-back weekends. Not good.
And 7 yesterday.
Yeah, and 7 yesterday. Not a great feeling, Bryce.
My bad. I just had to rant.
No, I appreciate it. Hey, that's what we're here for. We're here for the ranting. I appreciate your take. I'll go ahead and mute you back, but if you want to chime in later, feel free to, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jordan Guillory, saw that you requested a little bit earlier. If you want to unmute yourself and speak, the floor is yours, sir.
Hey, how we doing?
Good, man. Well, could be doing better, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna, try to be more on the positive side of this. Obviously, sucks. I mean, this was not a good showing. I was really hoping for a little bit more. Honestly, did I think that we were gonna go in and really win this, thing? Not really. I feel like a lot of us sort of that we are safe no matter what going into this tournament compared to the last 2 years had a little bit to do with it. And I think it kind of goes back to that little bit, cockiness, because we did have a very good regular season. We got that trophy, but we got too complacent on a lot of things, especially with, the pitching. I mean, we have the best pitching staff when we are on our A game in the entire conference, and unfortunately the bullpen did not show up this weekend at all, which is disappointing, but at the same time I don't think we should be panicking to the certain extent. I get a lot of social media, you can't read too much into it, but look, we've done so well in previous conference tournaments, and we've had, good feelings going into regionals the last 2 years. We weren't able to get it done. I tweeted out, I feel like this is somewhat what we needed, a little bit of a wake-up call. And if there's anything that this season has proved with the Cajuns is we face adversity very well. And I feel like this is sort of the adversity that we need in order to take the next step and even get past the regional. We're still going to be a 2 seed. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, they're not going to put a top 5 conference winner anything below a 2 seed, especially when you get to 40 wins in the regular season. Will we have to face a little bit stiffer competition? Probably. But we face adversity very well. And I feel like this is just another adversity that we're going to be facing and they're going to put up with. And I feel like we're going to handle it pretty well. That's just my opinion. I don't think we should be hitting the panic button. And that's just what I really wanted to say.
I'm not hitting, well, first of all, great comments. I agree with a lot of what you said. I'm not pushing the panic button. Now, a lot of our fans are. In fact, let me share this from Daryl Longclose saying, some are saying it's not a lock. We're safe to be in a regional. We're going to be in a regional. I think we can get off of social media. If anybody says we're not, it's probably a TSAT fan just trying to get under your skin. We're going to be in a regional. The problem is now instead of going to a regional that may be a 9, a 10, 11 seed, now you're probably going to a Texas A&M or an Arkansas or Tennessee. Like you're going to be playing in a really tough regional at this point. And look, lots of people, I'm going to throw those comments up there. Panic time from Rocket Pop. Juju's panicking. A lot of people are panicking. Juju saying we're on the bubble. I still think we're in, man. But Chuck McCraney, come on, man. Chuck McCraney, great Southern Miss fan, saying, do you think it was on purpose? Gives us guys extra rest for regionals? Absolutely not. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think we got cocky. I think we waltzed in there like we did against South Alabama after winning the conference. And we waltzed in there. And look, fast, loose, and hard. I didn't see a whole lot of fast, loose, and hard. I did for one inning, and we scored 7 runs. But we began pressing at the plate again once we got in a position where we were getting, they were clawing back, and then they go up, and then we start swinging at bad pitches. Now, credit to a couple guys. I mean, Connor Higgs hadn't had a great few games. He comes in, pinch hits, and first pitch homer. But that's a solo homer, which, that didn't really help us out that much. But again, it helped you to get some runs on the board. But as far as panicking, I'm not panicking. I'm just really upset that you had a great opportunity to not only improve your resume, but hell, you sweep the conference tournament and you're in conversation to potentially host. Now, the reason I'm not panicking is because the Southern Misses of the world, the T-Sabs of the world, the Louisiana Techs at Rustons of the world that we've played this season, as they keep winning, our RPI is going to continue to go up. So while we may be sitting at 34, 35, 36 right now, I'm going to take a look at that in a little bit. I don't think it's cause for panic because we are still playing the RPI game. And when you are, as you said, Jordan, the top 5 conference in the country, and you've won the conference regular season title, you're going to get in. And we've seen that historically happen. It would be an absolute, I think heads would explode all over the country if we weren't in. I don't think that's even a question.
Yeah,
so I'm not entertaining
there's no
that.
way we're not in. I mean,
No.
there's just no way.
I agree.
I mean, we're definitely in.
I agree. Thanks, Jordan. Cajun Dissident. I see you're there. If you want to unmute yourself, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Let me start with my first initial reaction. All right, cool. We got that out of the way. It just feels like insanity. Like we did the exact same thing today, and we expected something to change. Let me not be too negative, right? Because my blood pressure is going to spike.
And you're too young to have blood pressure issues, man. Look, on that same token, and I agree with you, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And that's what we did. Now, I will say, during that 7-run inning, watching us play some small ball again and the double suicide squeeze, that was sweet. That was the water hose boys. Those are the grinders that we expect. We did it for 1 inning in the last, 5 games?
I would assume so.
Yeah. So, are you panicking?
Yeah. Well, okay. When it was like 8-4, I was like, okay, what are we doing? Come on now. And then that 7th running inning, it was just like, because I knew something was going to happen. There's no way. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, there's no way, right? We had this lead. We can't possibly collapse at the last possible moment. But, here we are. I agree with your statement on the pressing. Jose gave me way too much hope for that bottom of the 8th, bottom 9th. I was looking at the live stats as it was happening because I'm ESPN Plus. And it just, who was it on second? Debo? Was second? I was like,
yeah, I
there
think
we go.
I think it was Debo on second.
Debo was on second. I was like, okay, we got the tying run. We got this. And it just
No, I get it, man. I get it.
And then hopefully for regionals, as much as let's be honest, you said Texas A&M, and immediately I started hearing "Fortunate Son" in the background while helicopters were whirring. The flashback, strong as ever. Honestly, I hope we go to like the Terre Haute regional with Indiana State. That'd be nice. Something like Terre Haute, or I don't want to go to an SEC school unless somehow Mississippi State hosts, because I lived in Starkville. So looking forward to regionals, something's got to give. Maybe Deggs needs to, much as I don't want to say this, look into the mirror a little bit, hard, long look in the mirror, because that wasn't Deggs coaching this weekend. There's no way. That
I
is
don't know.
so unlike.
You say that, but then you look at the pitching decisions that we had over the last 2 days, and it feels like that is, and the pressing at the plate and the undisciplined swings and the aggressiveness. And look, we haven't been able to hit pitching all season. Good pitching, not been able to do it.
Right.
That's Deg's ball. It's feast or famine.
Right, and we've been starving lately.
That we have.
Let's just hope that, however long we have of a downtime between regional and this tournament, just to get back, just not necessarily go back to basics, but something akin to what happened during that 19 win streak, 19 games.
Yep.
That was peak Waterhose Boys ball. That was recapturing that, because if we can win. Okay, let me slow down a bit. That 19 game win streak, something was there. We just need to go back and look at the tape from those games, starting with whoever it was and ending at La Tech at Ruston, and look at those games to see what clicked. I personally believe John Taylor should always be leading off, but I digress. This Sun Belt tournament, it was just insanity. I feel like, we talked yesterday about putting in Langevin for the game against ODU. I guess Deggs somewhere far away, meditating like a Jedi, heard us and put in Langevin, and we got not too bad, but not what I thought I was going to get from Langevin.
Langevin wasn't what we expected him to be today.
No,
I'll come out and say it. Neither was Christie.
No, and then he was the one who gave up the 6 runs. Was it Etheridge or was it Christie?
I don't have the stats in front of me. I think it was Etheridge, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah. See, that was not a good game from Etheridge either. Again, in that situation, maybe you go with Martinez. I don't know at this point.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I know what I do know is that we have a lot of work to do before we go into regional play. Our RPI fell to 39. So again, that's just not, that just hurts you when it comes to seeding.
I'll start booking my tickets to Indiana State.
Appreciate the comments, man. Andy Thomas, I've been trying to get you on for a little bit, but I couldn't get this tech to work. Let us know what you're thinking, brother.
You're good. Also, first, disappointed in Bryce. I know Bryce. I was hoping he'd be a little bit more unhinged, but whatever. I just feel like the pitching from this week was pretty much the story of the season. Walks, bullpen wasn't clutch when they needed us to be. And it was just every single time I really kind of once they drew it back to 8-6, I just was not feeling good about it at all. But I know Jordan said we're at 2. I kind of think at this moment they might put us at a 3, which I'm thinking hopefully maybe if that is the case, that honestly could put us at a better regional by doing that. thought, hopefully, because I'd prefer, not to play at A&M or Arkansas or Tennessee, because I do think that's where we honestly might go. Just there was no dogs on the bullpen today or yesterday, or really kind of a good chunk of the season, other than LP and Hammer for coming in relief and stuff. So,
but I think you felt like we pieced it together well enough at times this season that even though the guy came in and poo-pooed the bed, somebody came in behind him and was able to shut the door and kind of, manage the rest of the game. That's not how you felt in these two games in the tournament, or really, like you said, for most of the end of the season. And look, we have to also understand JMU and ODU and these teams are fighting for their lives to continue, some of them, their baseball careers. And so you've got to take that into account, that they are going to fight and claw to score runs and to beat you at the plate and to beat you. I mean, I knew it was over for sure when in the 8th inning, I forgot who hit a fly ball to deep left center or right center, and the center fielder leapt up as he's turning around, makes this unbelievable catch. And I'm like, that's it. We're done. You make your own luck. That wasn't luck. That was a guy fighting for his baseball career at JMU because he wants to keep playing. And we did not, outside of the 7-run inning, play that way today. Now, do we have dogs on the team? You saw Debo when he got on base, when he got walked, he was trying to pump up the dugout. But again, we didn't capitalize on their mistakes, and we bring pitchers in and we walk guys. Yeah, the first batter we walk, we hit by pitch. I mean, how many free base runners did they have today? I'd love to look that up. The stats aren't out yet. But again, self-inflicted wounds they took advantage of. And we didn't at the most critical times of this game.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like, and the part that annoys me is I definitely feel like this team reminds me, and you guys have talked about it so much, of the 2014 team. But man, in terms of just the mental aspect and having that clutch gene of, and regardless, just wanting to win, even if it's just a meaningless game, I just feel like this team sometimes they just slip back on that, and it drives me nuts, because this team has the talent, honestly, in my opinion, to do wild things. But now I'm questioning. I don't even know if we'll win a game in a regional sometimes at this point now. In terms of batting, I think we're fine. It's just, man, if our top 3 or 4 pitchers get into trouble, I don't know who I trust at this point.
Here's my question to you. Are we as good as we showed when we went on that 16-game win streak? Or are we as bad as we've shown at times this season, where we can't compete at the plate and we can't pitch our way out of jams? I mean, I don't know which team, because it's very Jekyll and Hyde. You had moments where we were so great this season, and then you blink and you get what you got today. I really don't know which one of those are our true team. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know I think it was Josh who said it's like, we're really good against the bad teams and bad against the good teams. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think this team is just hot and cold, and you never know when it's going to happen. And I think the easiness of the beginning, the front half of conference play, I think helped with the motivation a little bit, and probably won us a couple more games than, maybe we're anticipating. It's tough to say if we're, I was a little surprised that we won the conference, credit to the team. But how we're playing right now it concerns me going into the regionals heavily.
Yeah. I mean, how can it not concern? Anytime you give up 10 runs, that's concerning, period. I don't care if you score. If we would have come back and scored 15, I'd still be concerned. Like the win or loss, obviously for placing in a regional and RPI purposes, was a big deal. But take that out of the equation, and the way we played today, I mean, we could have scratched and clawed back, but it's still not making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside that we gave up 10 runs or however many more runs we could have given up to JMU. It really did.
I haven't felt. I mean, since Coastal, other than the Southern Miss series, I haven't really felt like. I guess, like you said, all warm and cozy on the inside. This team stresses me out.
Yeah, me too. And we never do anything easy, if you notice that, right? It's kind of like softball this year for some of the times. Nothing's ever easy by those guys. So who knows? Maybe they'll go in and just be who we think they are. But again, I'm questioning, are we, and I just lost a Twitter space for some reason, questioning, are we who we thought we were this season? I know that sounds silly, but are we who we thought we were? Did we overachieve all of those games? That's another question. Did we overachieve all of the games that we won in that 16-game win streak? I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. Apologies to all of those in the Twitter space. For some reason, it closed me out while I was mid-sentence. While we're getting some of those listeners back, I do have, it's only a 1-minute clip. It says, Sunbelt Baseball Championship press conference, but it is a press conference, but it looks like it's only 1 minute from Deggs. So let's pause while we get some listeners back in the Twitter space and see what Deggs has to say about today's loss.
Tough loss right there. You know, I thought we came out and swung the bats a lot better today. You know, Carson got us off to a good start. We were able to score 7 in the second, and you know, just couldn't stop them from there. We had, you know, a lot of free passes and a couple of hit batters, errors. You know, they made more pitches and plays than we did today, and they were able to come back and get it done.
Okay, Coach, I mean, you know, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, putting up 7 runs in the second inning. I mean, you had to like the effort that you guys came out with.
No, we were more on point today offensively. I'd like to see us get it done there at the end, but like I said, they made the pitches and the plays, and they're a good ball club. It's a great league. You know, feel fortunate that we were able to win the league. Would have loved to have come here and played a lot better, but we didn't, and so we got to regroup and get ready for next week. Tough loss right there, you know.
All right, a lot of coach speak there. That was all coach speak. Don't really know what else to say about that. That was, I will say that was something else to watch and hear, but man, I just, I don't know. I don't know where you go from here. I mean, obviously you go to a regional, but I don't know where you go from here in that regional. Catherine, I don't know if that's you or if that's Josh on Catherine's phone, but you're a speaker now on our Twitter space. I would love to hear from either one of you if you unmute yourself. Jerry, I saw you try to chime in, and I don't know if it worked when I added you. So please request again.
Hello, Nick.
Oh, there he is. What is up, Joshua?
My phone doesn't have Twitter on it, so I'm using Catherine's as a burner, I guess.
What's up, man?
Man, that's a man that sounds pretty dejected. You feel the same?
He felt dejected last night, dude. Didn't have the answer. That's what it sounded like, somebody who didn't have the answers.
He sounds like a guy that's resigned to what they are. I think he knows. Like the platoon pitching thing tells me that he doesn't trust the back end of the bullpen or the other starters on the team, and that's concerning. Nick, I'm going to lose you here for about 2 minutes because we're going onto the Bankhead Tunnel to go around Mobile traffic, but I will reemerge in just a moment.
Sounds good, man. Man is going on his way to, I guess nobody told him we're out of the tournament. Maybe he's heading out to the tournament. Andy, what's up, dude?
I was gonna say I'll piggyback off that. I mean, if you don't have trust in your bullpen guys, why are you pulling them? Why are you pulling your starter after 3 1/3? Especially the tournament's on the line. I know you want to save it, but you can't in that situation.
But I think it goes back to cockiness. I think he got cocky and said, we're going to piece it together and get through this game, and we got to save our pitching. And look, I don't know if that's the truth. I'm just telling from my standpoint, my point of view, that when you pull in a SEMO after the third inning, when you're pulling a guy like we did today in Fluno, I mean, that to me, that's the only reason is because you're trying to save them for later in the week, but there is no later in the week. And look, Langevin, as much as I love the kid, did not have a good outing today. Neither did Cash. And again, it's inconsistency there, and that's a second appearance, I believe, in a row from Langevin that we saw him get hit pretty hard.
Yep. Ever since the was it the Troy game where we gave up was it, the 6 runs? I was like, I don't trust it. I do not, regardless of how big of a lead we have, I don't feel comfortable until there is 27 outs in that game.
I think I would feel comfortable if I knew that our hitters would be able to hit pitching. You know, I mean, because
we did today.
We did.
I mean,
we did in one inning. We scored 7 in an inning, and we scored 2 runs after.
I mean, in my opinion, though, I feel like 9 runs should win you against the pitchers that were left, because that was JMU's. This was their 3rd game, right?
I totally agree. I totally agree. Yes,
because I think again. Who said it? One of you said it the other day. I was like, we're basically pitching against their Sunday pitchers against our Friday and Saturday guys.
Yes. And so there was no reason, in my opinion, that we pull them. Now, look, if they go out and give up 4 runs, then I think you cut your losses and move on. But I just have a really tough time thinking that we have to out-hit teams when we score 7 runs in 1 inning and we can't hold a team to 6 runs. I mean that, and when you look at it again, they were 9 outs away from being eliminated from the tournament, and they go out and hit a 3-run bomb and take a 2-run lead. I guess I think one of the things that bewilders me more than anything, Andy, is the fact that when we are in a position where we're up by 6 or 7 runs, our pitchers start walking people. And they start handing out free bases, and they don't try to pitch it over the plate, which is what you're supposed to do when you go up 6 or 7 runs. And then when the other team comes in and makes it a close game, then you start throwing a fastball right down the middle and giving up a 3-run homer. They got it all backwards, bro.
I know. And now I was like halfway working when the game was still going on. Was this, I know during a bunch of the season, I know Bryce I've talked to Bryce, I think, about it. We're always up 0-2, 1-2s, and then we somehow still get them. They still get on base, whether it's a hit, a walk.
Yep.
I don't know if that was as much today. I do remember a couple pretty much like 3-0s and 3-1s, but I don't. If our pitching or our hitting can only get us so far in these regionals, and you're going to face good pitching pretty much the whole regional, so.
Yeah, and on the opposite side of that, Andy, when we come up to bat, we're often going 0-2 and fighting our way out of that.
Always.
So, yeah. Hey, appreciate the comments, Andy. I see Josh is raising his hand. Josh, what's up, brother? I guess you're out the tunnel.
We made it. The tunnel worked. I guess I'm here to report it still works. Anyway, no, Andy's right. And the platoon pitching thing. So, look, first of all, I got to say this. Herm is hurt, and I know they're pitching around that. They're strategizing around that, so that's important. And I know that they're looking ahead to the regional. But this platoon pitching thing, we got to get out. Like, it's not working. Fluno's in a rocking chair after a rocky first inning, and you pull him because the plan is to go 3 with Fluno, 3 with LP, and 3 with JT Etheridge. I mean, that was pretty obvious. LP should not have been in that game. I don't understand that. Fluno found a groove. You saw what happened when they put LP in. Those JMU bats were much more suited to hit the fastball than all the junk that Fluno was throwing to him. LP pitches from the fastball, Fluno pitches from the change. You saw what happened. He sped their bats up, and they started hitting around the park. I don't like the platoon stuff is not working for this staff. It's just not. I understand that we were the better staff in the Sun Belt, one of the best in the country for a period of time. At this point, It is not working. You can't pull Fluno right there. You cannot do that. Sometimes you got to deviate from the plan. I just don't like. I don't like it. Am I nuts or?
No, and Andy, you want to comment on that? I saw you unmuted yourself.
I was just going to sarcastically say yes, but go ahead.
No, I think everyone that I've talked to questioned that decision, as we questioned the decision again last night with SEMO. I get you're looking ahead to the rest of the tournament, but damn it, we need to win a game before we can get to the rest of the tournament. I don't care if we go 2-0 and then we drop the next 2 games because we don't have pitching. We'll figure that out in the next 2 games. But you got to pitch your best. And I'm with you. Josh. I don't think we should have brought LP in today. I really don't. I was bewildered by that.
It felt forced. And the thing is that the last time we've seen LP pitch, God bless him, guy's got great stuff. He's going to be a major leaguer one day. It's not been good. It hasn't. I mean, today he was all over the place. Let alone, I mean, he got hit pretty hard, but he was all over the place with his misses. He wasn't around the plate. He's not effective when he's that wild. That was forced.
It feels like a little bit like Dylan Moore, right?
I mean, at times, the thing about Demo is that he was the master at missing close.
Yeah.
And JT ended up walking those 3 hitters, and I hate that for him because I really like how much he's improved. But at the same time, like you can't walk guys. They all scored.
Well, the thing is, Josh, like I said,
he missed small.
When we're up by 7 or 6 or 7 or even 10, when we're up by a huge lead, we start walking guys. I don't understand. Pitch the damn ball over the plate. If you give up a solo homer, I don't care. If you give up a double, I don't care. But pitch it over the plate. But what happens is they try to get cute. They try to they try to frame these pitches all over the zone, and then they walk guys, hit by pitch, walk, hit by pitch, double, single. Now the double and the single hurt you. It's not going to hurt you when there's nobody on base, but instead of having nobody on base, you're walking and hitting guys, and now you got 2 or 3 guys on base. Now it hurts. And then again, when we're batting, when we're pitching, the other team goes 2-0, 3-0 counts, and we're 0-2. It seems like every batter goes 0-2 before they start fouling off pitches or taking pitches. I get being aggressive, but
the same thing. I literally said the same. We are always 0-2.
And so now you're fighting a battle instead of just taking pitches and being patient and seeing what they give you. I don't know.
We can rail on pitching. We can rail on pitching all we want, and it's deserved. But what did JMU do today? They outgritted us. They nickel and dimed us until they hit us with the uppercut, which was the 6-run inning, and I think the 6th or the 7th, whatever it was. They nickel and dimed us. They continued to put pressure on pitching all the way back to the first inning, where I know Fluno got out of it, but really that could have been a disastrous inning and put us behind the 8 ball early in the game. What did our offense do? After 7 runs, outside of Connor Higgs, we pretty much sat on our laurels. Like, where is that gritty offense? We finally played Raging Cajun baseball in that 7-run inning where we drag bunt, we double squeeze, we put balls in the hole, we got a couple of hard hit balls. Like, that is our entire offense in a nutshell. We did it in 1 inning. And then we sat back in our lawn chair and waited for the pitching staff to get outs, and they should have. But there's no complimentary baseball right now, Nick. I mean, we may be witnessing an all-time collapse here. I don't want to be, end of the world type guy, but it's hard to watch this team play baseball right now and not think just what's going on. Like, this is not the team we've watched for 56 games.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I can't argue with that whatsoever. Just looking back at some of the, I'm trying to pull up the quotes. Really, not a whole lot. I mean, that's really. I don't think that Daggs's press conference went much longer than the minute that I played tonight. The one question, if I were there as a reporter, I would have asked was, after this performance, how concerned are you going into a regional play? I mean, 2 days ago, he's talking about we win this thing and we could potentially host. And now we're talking about having to go to an SEC team at their turf as a 1, 2, 3, 4 seed. And playing as a 2 or 3 seed there, that's an awful tall hill to climb. And you know what, Josh? What drives me nuts about this team is that they could very well go into any regional and make some noise and get into the regional finals, or they can go 0-2 and play like they did today. I don't know, again, if we overachieved for a lot of the season or just underachieving now. I don't know what talent we really have because we're so up and down. So going into regional, I don't know what we're going to do.
And look, I'm not being reactionary. What we saw today is what we've seen for a month.
Well, we've been saying it all season.
We've literally been having these exact same conversations for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. So this is not reactionary. It's a little bit more emotional because it's aggravating to blow a 7-1 lead in an elimination game. A 7-1 lead in an elimination game where you forced the platoon pitching should have never. You can't move off of Fluno right there. You can't. I don't know, man. I've been complaining about the way we handle pitchers for 3 years. I thought Gunnar coming in would change some of that, and yes, I think there's been know that Andrew not being there and being available is it's a detriment. Like, I get that part. But my God, dude, 7-1, and you still got your best closer, the best closer in the league, and JT Etheridge, who's been really good. Like, you got to be able to get, 12 outs with a 4 to 5 run lead.
Hell, you had 9 outs. Then you had 9 outs. You're up by 2.
You got to be able to do better than that.
I agree. Overall, disappointing performance. And again, we've been saying this all season. None of this is new. Daniel chiming in on X saying, miss some of the convo. Did we talk about, we always know if Etheridge has his stuff in about 6 to 8 pitches. Look, I could say that about a lot of pitchers on the staff, man. I'm not just, JT, yes, I see that, whether or not he's coming in a situation has his stuff. But look, we are statistically the best pitching staff in the Sun Belt, and we're ranked up there top 10 in the country or whatever. But statistics and reality and watching the actual games, I mean, you can have a great ERA, but come out and walk, 2 guys and then boot a ball and weird things happen. I don't buy it, man. I don't buy that we're the best. Look, maybe deepest. We definitely have the pitchers on staff. All right. We definitely have the pitchers on staff. Best in the conference. I'm starting to question that right now. And I don't know if that's a symptom of us being exposed this late in the season or just teams getting tape on us and adjusting. Batting wise, we're not adjusting.
This is the first time we've had to play several really good teams in a row. That's the truth. Since Troy, well, really since Coastal, you saw what happened to Coastal. They pretty much played themselves out of the tournament. But since Coastal, we've been a really average baseball team, and it's showing right now. And I think we talked about yesterday, the pitching, we kind of know what the pitching is. Well, the pitching was given an opportunity to do what they needed to do to win today, and they completely stopped or collapsed. That was a collapse. And credit to JMU. They're good.
Yeah.
They continued to play. They didn't stop playing after the third inning or whatever. They kept playing baseball. They wanted to continue their season. They were grittier than we were. I don't see this gritty team that we've been told. I don't see it.
I don't see the Wolfpack mentality. I saw it from JMU today, and I saw it from ODU last night, but didn't see a whole lot of it today. Jerry, it looks like we finally got you in as a speaker. Unmute yourself. Tell us your thoughts, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, I did not expect an early exit like this after winning the conference last week, but I guess it is what it is. I think what frustrates me the most was, and Nick, I know you mentioned it last night, and I'm not freaking out about not making a regional, but at the same time, I wanted to play in this tournament, even if, like I told you guys before, even if we would have made the semis or the finals, that means you would have won 2 or 3 games where you would have gotten your RPI up. And the higher your RPI, even if you don't host, the higher your RPI, they send you to a winnable regional. And that's what's frustrating to me, is because I know everybody's like, well, we're playing for the regional and all this other stuff. But first of all, you never take anything for granted. Okay. I don't think we're quite there yet to say that, you can just automatically be a shoo-in, even though I'm very comfortable, we're fine. But you got to be able to still win some games in this tournament, because you got to carry it. I'm a big proponent of momentum. you got to carry some of this type of momentum into a regional. And no matter what they say about it being a brand new season, no matter what they say about it being your 0-0, your style of play can determine what you bring next week wherever you go. And from what I've seen the last 2 days, I mean, the way the bullpens played or the way they played today, I I'm not too optimistic. I mean, we could talk about how we were kind of lollygagging into this tournament, but at the same time, there's also some bad play that kind of reared its ugly head today. And that's what frustrates me. It goes back to the fundamental side, and there were some things we didn't do fundamentally well today at the plate, sort of in the field a little bit, and then definitely on the mound. That's the part that's concerning. You go play Tennessee, you go play Texas A&M, you definitely ain't coming out of a regional playing like that. Heck, you might not even beat a 3 seed if you're a 2 playing like that. So I think that's what was a little more concerning to me, was that we didn't play, not necessarily at the level that we're capable of, but it like Josh said, it's a trend. I'm starting to see a trend, and that's the scary thing this time of year. You see some other teams right now that are getting hot. We're kind of on that downward trajectory, and that's the scary part. So look, we'll find out where we go Monday. But to go 0-2, I would have liked to at least win a few games to help our RPI and just create some momentum going into next week.
Yeah, and hope to God the team that won 16 in a row shows up. But let's talk about the top of the 7th inning, okay? A walk, a steal, a walk, and then you had a sack bunt after that. And then another walk. Christie comes in to pitch for JT because you're thinking, okay, he's going to come shut the door. Then you have a fielder's choice, scored a run, double, and a homer. I mean, I used to trust Christie. Christie coming in, shut the door, we got it. It's back to that same lack of confidence and just up and down we've been doing all season. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be able to trust guys in your bullpen to come out and shut the door in a situation like that. And what's funny, Josh, as you were talking about last night, there was a point where, somebody asked, should we bring Martinez in? And we were like, hell no, not in that situation. But the funny part is, if we brought Martinez in tonight, he might have shut the door and we're talking about a different outcome in the game, because this bullpen is so up and down. You don't know what you're getting from one day to the next. Same with JT today. Same with Christie. Giving up a 6-run lead is just unfathomable to me at this point of our season. And now's not the time to start regressing, but here we are. But I agree with you, Jerry. It's concerning as to where we end up now, because we just kept digging that hole, and there's no excuse about lollygagging into the conference tournament, because you had a head coach that was out there saying we have a chance to host a regional, and you go to and barbecue. There's a deeper issue there than just saying that we're lackadaisical. There's something else there that just ain't clicking for me.
Well, even like I said, even if we would have won today, and let's say we would have played the loser of ODU and Georgia Southern and won that game, and let's say we would have made the semis and maybe lost. Well, now you leave with a 2-2 record, but at least you got some wins under your belt, and now you're feeling better about going into next week. And we didn't do that. That's what kind of bothers me a little bit, is I expected to at least, even if we didn't win the tournament, at least compete to win a few games, right? And the losses we've had over the last month, a lot of it has come from giving up unnecessary runs, giving up clutch hits, giving up big leads. It almost happened to Troy. Remember, we were up 6 in the top of the 9th and almost gave up that lead and almost blew the game and got swept. We did it against Coastal Carolina a month ago. We're up 10-6. Hitting home runs after home run in their ballpark, ended up collapsing at the end, losing by 2, giving up 6 unanswered runs. That's the thing that concerns me, because this time of year when you start seeing that, I would have expected the pitching to improve and get over that hump. This is the time of year where your bullpen needs to be strong and fresh. If you noticed our best years, 14, 15, 16, even in 22 and 23 last year, our bullpen really stepped in and got the job done this time of year. I mean, last year our pitching went up two or three levels this time of year, which actually got us in as an at-large. This year I'm seeing the opposite. So, I mean, I hope there's a come to Jesus meeting in that locker room when they get back to town. But I'm just, I know everybody's disappointed in the 0-2. It's not that I'm disappointed that we went 0-2. It's how we went 0-2. Like you said, you're up 6 runs. You got to hold on to that lead, and you score 7 in the second, and you don't score for another 5 innings.
Yep.
I mean, what? I don't get it. Like, you were just, I mean, you went around the entire lineup in that 1 inning. You should have put the game away. You should have compounded on that the next few innings, and we didn't.
And again, free bases. JMU, their pitching staff, 3 walks and 1 hit by pitch. Our pitching staff, 6 walks, 2 hit by pitch. 8 free bases. Can't do that if you want to compete in a regional or a tournament like this. Just can't do that. Ryan Dooley coming up big for James Madison. He had 3 hits. Of course, one of them, the 3-run bomb. I think it was Dooley. May have been Brendan O'Donnell. I'm not sure. He had a big game as well. 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 ribbies. I don't know, man. I'm out of things to say. I think this was going to be a tough pill to swallow, and we're going to wake up tomorrow. Sun's going to come out. We'll be watching on Monday, but you just gotta, I think one of the things that we are going to do on Monday when watching the selection show is look back and say, what if we had a better RPI? What if we won just 2 games? I'd have taken 2 games in this tournament. 2-2, that's fine. We'll be talking about this one for a while. And look, this team, the way that they play, again, they could very well come out and just be ridiculous in the regional. It's just you feel like you've been punched in the gut today. Last couple of days. So it is what it is. We're just making it up to 1 hour. Jerry, Josh, before we go, do you have any parting words for us or thoughts? I'm sure we're going to come together after the selection show once we know where we're going. But before that, anything that you want to say or bring up today?
There are some silver linings. Maybe this loss drop us to a high 3 seed rather than a low 2 seed, because I think we can win. We have a better opportunity to win in a regional as a 3 seed. Also might serve as a motivator to this team, because obviously they've lost some fight. We need more fight. Maybe we need a chip on our shoulder. I don't think we have a chip on our shoulder. Maybe we can develop one after this embarrassing performance. Maybe we can start a petition as a group of fans for Deggs to let the starters have their starts. Let Herm go in there and get 6 or 7 innings if he's rolling. Let Chase Morgan stay in the game when he has a little traffic on the base pass, rather than pulling him every single time it looks like he might give up a run. Maybe we can let Fluno stay in the game when he's on a roll. So let's start the petition. I'll see how I can do that. I know now, was it change.org or something like that? You can go do a petition. That's what we'll do. I don't know, Nick. This is a really bad trip for us to Montgomery, but every now and then, getting embarrassed can motivate you. And I'm just going to hold out hope that that's what happens, because right now we're just not playing good baseball. We're not. We're disjointed, and we just don't have the fight that we should have at this time of year. So that's my last thought.
Before you go, Jerry, Andy, parting shots.
I guess non-related to the depressing stuff on the field. I just want to mention the tournament as a whole. It's got to get out of Montgomery. There's no one there. at least bring it back to a school or maybe like Biloxi or Pensacola or something, man. It was dead in there. And who knows? I feel like that honestly could have played a factor. Just no emotion in that ballpark at all.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Look, again, I don't think we're going to Pensacola. There's a certain festival going on this weekend that I think would make it very difficult for us to even get rooms booked. Biloxi, I don't want to be in Biloxi. I don't want that to be a USM home game. Nashville, we can talk about that, Andy. I'd be all good with Nashville.
Okay with. I forgot that place exists.
Thanks for chiming in today, man. I appreciate it. Jerry, you get the final parting shot.
Well, I guess I'll add the silver lining. I'll piggyback off of what Josh said. You know, that hopefully this is a motivation that lights a firecracker under some rear ends. Because now, look, this could be our last upcoming weekend of baseball if we don't take care of business. Now is a time to kind of regroup and realize that, we have an opportunity that over 200 other schools don't have. So, if we want to live up to that reputation of Cajuns baseball, we're going to have to give a lot better of a performance next week, because you play like this, your season ends abruptly. So, look, I've seen this team does have a characteristic of fighting back. We've seen it before after some Friday night losses or some disappointing losses. They've come back and battled, but now they need that more than ever. So, looking forward to talking with you guys early next week after we find out where we end up. For those of you traveling, I heard Josh is traveling for Memorial Day. For all of you celebrating Memorial Day, please be safe wherever you go. Nick, we'll definitely keep in touch, and we'll be back next week to discuss where the Cajuns end up in a regional.
Thanks, Jerry. Didn't mean to hit that early, but here we are. That wraps it up for another edition post-game of Ragin' Review. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that shaws. Tell your mama and them what we do. We would appreciate it. For Nick, who is me, Jerry, I pulled it. I did it. I did it, Jerry. For Jerry, for Josh, for everyone who chimed in today, I'm Nick. Thank you for listening to the Ragin' Review podcast. We'll talk next week. Bye, everybody.